Hello YouTube, it's been a long time since I made a video, but I figured I would with my newest project here. And, I don't know, I'll probably do one about that soon. But for now, the Tercel is the focus of attention here. This is the newest car I bought, and it is also the oldest vehicle I've actually bothered to put on the road. The cab on that is technically from an older truck, but, you know, I cut up the frame and put it on that. This is a 1985 Toyota Tercel wagon. Bought it for $400 from a guy up in Michigan, and he drove it until it ran out of oil and the engine started knocking. So I picked it up for $400. He had it listed for a couple months, and I was the only person that actually knew anything about these cars that wanted to save it. As you can see, this body has a little bit of rust, but for this being Michigan, this thing is spotless. I can still lift it by the rocker pinch welds on the car. It is in fantastic shape. There's just a little bit of rust, like on the back and whatever. It's because this car was driven between their house in Florida and Michigan. Now this car is kind of interesting because most people see these and go, oh, it's a four-wheel drive one. Nope, it's a front-wheel drive one. Which in my opinion is actually kind of more rare because most people didn't bother to keep these things because they were cheaper. And this one is not an SR5 like most of the four-wheel drive ones left. It is the mid-grade trim level known as Deluxe, which Toyota abbreviates DLX. So that means that it has vinyl seats, which I have a coworker that's gonna reupholster them, or at least he said he would. No tack, originally no clock. You can see there's actually a hole there for it. It had a dealer added clock. No intermittent wipers. Thankfully dimming rearview mirror, but this is, I don't know what radio it came with originally. This one came from an 85 pickup. I put it in because it didn't have one. Like no center console here. Thankfully, air conditioning. That was actually like dealer installed though. None of these cars came to the US with air conditioning in them. It was all added at the dealership. It has a 2-speaker sound system. The rear speakers would go right there where those little delete panels are. I put them back in. Someone added speakers that looked just fucking horrific. So yeah, that's the interior. The car is in very good shape inside. There's not really much wrong in it. However, where the biggest disaster of this car was, well, when I bought it, it had stickers covering absolutely everything. There's stickers on that, damn near every window. First thing I did was bring it to my work, still knocking, and strip off all the stickers, because this car just looks so terrible. Now this car still has the original 1.5 liter 3A. So you can see the block of wood here is tensioning the alternator because someone fucked up this stud here. Well, actually I damaged the stud. But I bought a new alternator. It's supposed to be here yesterday. And as you can see, this weather is so terrible, there is no way FedEx can possibly deliver the new alternator, until Monday. So I did that. It's sketchy but functional. But anyways, here's the 3AC. So basically what I done to it is a complete engine overhaul. It ran out of oil, had 1 quart of oil in it, and it was full of glitter, and it spun the number 3 rod bearing. It had a real bad knocking noise when I first started the car up and loaded it onto the car dolly, which I had towed with that. And as soon as I put more oil in it, the knock got a lot quieter. You know, putting oil in it won't undo a spun rod bearing, so it got a new crankshaft, all new bearings in the bottom end, new connecting rods. It's a damaged number 3 connecting rod. I also put a Civic radiator in this. That was what's in the back. This is the correct radiator for the car. The Civic one went to about here, so this one's bigger and correct size. Has a Weber carburetor on it. Haven't put an air filter on it yet, but it's winter and I've driven it a total of 30 miles, so it really won't hurt anything. New Weber carburetor, went through the cylinder head, changed all the valve stem seals, changed every gasket on this engine. It's not leak anymore. This thing leaked like a sieve when I got it, and now it is dry. So now I've managed to pull off 2 80s Toyotas that don't piss oil everywhere. This one also doesn't leak, and this one doesn't leak. I have 2. That's really, really uncommon. The other thing I did too, all new hoses for the heater and everything. Full tune-up. I just put the right size battery in it. This is apparently from a truck. The air conditioning also didn't work. The guy pulled the belt off it, so I bought a new belt, put it on. Diagnosed the problem with the AC was the discharge line was leaking on the crimp where it went to the compressor. Made a new line. Changed all the seals in the compressor, evac the system, changed the accumulator, recharged it with R12. So AC is functional. God knows how many years it's been since it's worked last, but it is functional. Like also, like the power steering pump wasn't actually tight. It was kind of in there sketchily and slightly crooked, so that was fixed. Thankfully the guy had a new timing belt kit he didn't put on. The belt that was on here was shot, and since he had a new timing belt kit that had never been installed, I put it on the engine. I have a spare head gasket too, but you know, I bought a whole gasket set for the engine, so you know, that's since been changed. Things to still do to the car. It has cut springs in the front, so it's leaning forward. There's a dent in the fender. I'm gonna try and just push this out and leave it because you're not gonna match this color, the paint fade, and the decal on the corner there. I bought a marker light for it from a guy on the Tercel 4-wheel drive Facebook page. It is apparently on its way here. Another thing that was really stupid that was done to this car, the last two owners didn't really do the best things to it. I've done a lot here to just reverse the changes and make it look better. They like plastic dipped the hood. I had to peel all this off. You still see some here. That was all plastic dipped. They plastic dipped the headlights. They put X's on it. I haven't undone them because it's getting new headlights because these are shot. One of them, the low beam filament, when I hit a bump and it stopped working, so I just leave it on high beams for now. But I'm gonna pull the dent out of the fender, put a marker light in it. I need to get non-cut front springs for it. Also, they painted the chrome rings and center caps white. I peeled all that off because it just looked terrible. So they're all shiny and chrome again. These things are in fantastic shape for being 35 years old. It's gonna get a set of 4 tires soon because it has snow tires in the front, which are fine for February when it's 30 degrees out. But you know, I don't really want to drive this in the winter. It has one Walmart garbage tire with a nice bit of alignment wear going. I don't know how you can see that, but the inner edge is just worn off the tire. So yeah, I also want to get a gauge cluster with a good clock. There's one on eBay right now. Apparently it was in a car that was wrecked in the 80s and been sitting on the shelf for 30 years, so hopefully it works. Let's go ahead and start this thing up. Another thing it has too is a fucking just terrible exhaust system. It has a fart can on the back, and this thing is obscenely loud and full of exhaust leaks because it looked like Helen Keller tried to weld the exhaust together. That's how bad it is. There's leaks everywhere. There's a crack in the pipe. It is so horribly butchered. Now, since I like my vintage Toyotas, it's kind of hard to keep track. What's the blue key? This thing with the Weber carburetor. It's a pretty good runner. Starts right up. Keep in mind, it's like 28 degrees out today. It's not warm. Still need to adjust the carburetor some more, but this is just me just playing with the ignition a bit and timing it. Yeah, this car's a great runner. Other things I have to do too is like fix this. Still need a rear wiper for it. This was the best from the front. They had the wrong rear wiper put on it. It's kind of neat. This is a Toyota dealership it came from back in '85. Anyways, I think this was inclusive enough. Hope somebody enjoys this.